Europa League semi-finals. Atletico Bilbao versus Manchester United. Tottenham versus Bodo Glimt. These are games that are not to be missed, guys. The reason I'm saying this is because when it gets to this level of any football game, any league, the semi-finals, it is not for small boys. It is for big boys. And Manchester United and Tottenham are counted among the big boys. You get? Remember, Manchester United is still to suffer their first defeat in this Europa League. Manchester United, right from the one right up to this point, they haven't lost a single game in the Europa League. They eliminated Real Sociedad, they eliminated Lyon, and now they are playing against Atletico Bilbao tomorrow in Spain. So it is not going to be an easy game for both Atletico Bilbao and for Manchester United. It is going to be another tough game for Ruben Amorim. And if Manchester United wants to get things right, they should win this Europa League. If Manchester win this Europa League, then the season is just going to be super for them. Because if you win the Europa League, then 6 Premier League clubs are going to play the UEFA Champions League. When you take a look at the last 5 games of Atletico Bilbao, you discover that they had 3 wins, 1 draw, and 1 defeat in the last 5 games. When you take a look at the last 5 games of Manchester United, you discover that Manchester United celebrated just 1 win in the last 5 games, 2 draws, and 2 defeats in the last 5 games. And now, when you also take a look at that, maybe the last head-to-head games, you discover that Atletico Bilbao won Manchester United 2 good times, and Manchester United did not have a single win over Atletico Bilbao. They shared points once. So the last 3 games that Manchester United played Atletico Bilbao, Manchester United suffered 2 defeats and 1 draw to Atletico Bilbao. And if there is one player in this game to watch, then it should be Nico Williams. Nico Williams is on fire, guys. This guy scored 4 goals in 3 Europa League home games. 4 goals in 3 Europa League home games. That is a player to watch. And this guy actually just returned from his injury and he is in form. Maybe he will get his first start tomorrow against Manchester United. And if there is one Manchester United player that is to be watched in this particular game, is Bruno Fernandes. There is no player that can stop Bruno Fernandes. He is a midfielder, but the level of offensiveness in him is something else. I think he is the best Manchester United player. Even if you go back like 3 years back, up to date, you discover that there is no Manchester United player that we have seen that is better than Bruno Fernandes. I think even at the start of the season, Bruno Fernandes was criticized. And at this point in time, he is still showing that he is the best Manchester United player. At some point in time, he was even linked to Real Madrid. And we don't know if during the summer transfer window, he'll be joining Real Madrid. That is just to tell you that this game between Atletico Bilbao and Manchester United is not going to be funny. It's going to be a difficult game for both sides. But with all these statistics that I've shown you guys, the last 5 games of Atletico Bilbao, the last 5 games of Manchester United, who do you think are the favorite to win this game? Because if I am to predict this game, I am just predicting, guys. I am not a seer, I'm not a prophet. I am just predicting from their recent statistics. I'll give Atletico Bilbao a win over Manchester United. I think both teams can score in this game because the level of offensiveness for the 2 sides is very okay for them to score goals. I believe Atletico Bilbao can score at least 2 or 3 goals in this game because Manchester United is weak when it comes to defending. Can they do that again tomorrow against Atletico Bilbao? Let's just wait and see how tomorrow is going to look like. And when you take a look at the game of Tottenham versus Bodo Glimt, Tottenham eliminated Frankfurt. Bodo Glimt eliminated Lazio. This game is not going to be funny. Tottenham is actually having one of the worst seasons, like the worst season. This is the worst season of Tottenham in the Premier League. 19 defeats this season for Tottenham. The worst season ever in the history of Premier League. And if they want to get things right, they should just get a win over Bodo Glimt, get a qualification and play the Europa League finals, and maybe win the title so they can play the UEFA Champions League next season. You know, Tottenham is actually occupying the 17th spot of the Premier League table. Though the 3 relegation teams are already okay, but Tottenham are the next team. Like, if there was going to be another 4th team to go down to Championship, Tottenham should definitely be the ones to go down. And at this point in time, they are at the level of the Europa League semi-finals. I know, getting to the semi-finals is not for everyone. Winning a game, eliminating Frankfurt is not for everyone. And it is for a reason that Tottenham is at this point in time. And I think they just have 180 minutes. 180 minutes to get to the Champions League finals. 270 minutes to lift the Europa League title. That is all Tottenham need. 270 minutes of honor, of victory if they want to celebrate at the end of the season. And if at the end of the season Tottenham win the Europa League, then we all are going to conclude that the season was not that bad for them. The season was not that bad for them. And if there is one player to watch in this game of Tottenham versus Bodo Glimt, it should be Solanke. Solanke has scored 13 goals this season, and 9 of those 13 goals that Solanke scored were at home. Tottenham is playing tomorrow at home. So that is a player that is to be watched. Dominic Solanke is a guy to watch. That guy is class. Maybe he will score tomorrow. I can guarantee you guys tomorrow Solanke will score a goal. When they take a look at the last 5 games of Tottenham, discover that they had just 3 wins. Sorry, 1 win in the last 5 games, 1 draw in the last 5 games, and 3 defeats in the last 5 games. That is just to tell you how the season is becoming more and more difficult for Tottenham. The recent game was even against Liverpool. They suffered 4 goals to 1. They were the first people to score in that game, and at the end of the day, they still suffer the defeat. When you take a look at the last 5 games of Bodo Glimt, you see them having 3 wins, 1 draw, and a single defeat in the last 5 games. You discover that with all these statistics, Bodo Glimt can be considered favorite to win the game over Tottenham. You know how Premier League teams are like. Premier League teams are totally different from other league teams. But in this particular game, even with these recent statistics, right, I can give Tottenham a win over Bodo Glimt. So guys, let me know your predictions down in the comment section. What you actually think about these games. Atletico Bilbao versus Manchester United. What do you think about this game? What formations are you expecting from the 2 managers? We have Tottenham versus Bodo Glimt. What are your expectations, the strategies, the tactics, the formation? What do you actually expect from the 2 managers in this game between Tottenham versus Bodo Glimt? And one thing, guys, I am just from starting. You can see how young my channel is, and I'll be very grateful if you can drop something down in the comment section to appreciate my work. And most importantly, just subscribe to my YouTube channel, so when next I post a video that is similar to this one, you'll be one of the first people to see it.